In this lesson, we'll cover rebar types. So looking at our current view, we have an element of rebar already created. Let's go ahead and select that. With the rebar selected, we can change the type in the property area on the left. Simply click the property dropdown, and these are the different types that are currently loaded into the Revit project. Right now, it's just giving a name. We don't actually see a pictorial of what this Revit type of rebar looks like. To view the types from the rebar browser, on the options bar, there's a button to the right with 3 dots that's called an ellipse button. Go ahead and click that. That will turn on the shape browser for the rebar on the right. Here you can see the same elements, but it's visually showing you a graphic of the shape and what it would look like if you placed it within your Revit model. You can also look at the types. So in the property area on the left, if you click Edit Type, this is the actual rebar type and all of the parameters that go into it. Specifically the dimensions. These dimensions call out the actual rebar type, diameter, radius, and you can also look at the hook lengths. If you click Edit to the right of hook length, here are the settings for your different types of hooks. You can actually calculate or add in the hook length, target length, and even an offset length. You can also assign the material in the material area. Now, if you wanted to modify something, the recommendation is to duplicate this actual family or this type. So you could click Duplicate, give it a new name, and then make your modifications. But before duplicating, what I would want to do is to see if there's other types of rebar or families that I could load into Revit and actually use. So let's look at that. Just click in the background to deselect. So to load a new family in or a new type of rebar, let's go to the Insert tab. On the Insert tab in the middle of your screen, click Load Family. On the Load Family window, scroll down till we get to Structural Rebar Shapes. Go ahead and open Structural Rebar Shapes. These are all of the different types of shapes that you could load in to your Revit project. Let's select S1. You'll see a pictorial on the right of the actual shape. Go ahead and click Open. That will load that element now into the project. So to use it, let's select our rebar that currently exists, turn on the rebar shape browser, and then in the shape browser on the right, scroll all the way to the bottom, and we can see that new rebar S1 that we brought in. If you were to select it, it will try to update the current rebar with this rebar. However, this one won't necessarily work because it's outside of the host element or outside of the beam. Click in the background to deselect or to accept. So as a review, in this lesson, we looked at different rebar types. We looked at the properties of a rebar, being able to see the different types of the rebar from the property area, being able to look at the parameter data once we edit the type of rebar. We also looked at loading in different families or types of rebar. Once loaded in, we visually looked at the rebar in the rebar shape browser.